Hi, my name is Emmett. My pronouns are they, them. Today is August 3rd, 2020. And today I am going to be adding my voice to the wider conversation going on in the pagan and witchcraft community, the circles that I run in online and imbibe content from, regarding the tarot deck, the Fated Star Tarot by creator Tori Torgerson. The Fated Star Tarot deck was a mid-publication tarot deck that had a Kickstarter by the creator, in which their own customers, their own financial backers for the project, raised concerns, raised valid problems with this tarot deck in the depiction of both Black people and mentally ill people. The imagery in this tarot deck depicted both ableism as well as anti-Black racism. I am going to be addressing a specific creator who responded to the criticism that this creator of the tarot deck received for their work. This creator is named Owlvine Green, and I have been following her for years. I have been following Owlvine since the beginning of her creative journey here on YouTube and have seen every single one of her videos. I have imbibed basically all of the content, all of the work that she has put out into the pagan witchcraft community. And I have respected her since the beginning of when I found her and have ultimately supported her in everything she's done up until this point. Essentially, Owlvine completely shirked accountability for a post that she created to her own wide audience, including both Black and mentally ill people, in which people responded to her post and were shut down, ignored, and completely disrespected in their humanity. I have a serious problem with larger creators being allowed to shirk accountability, being allowed to shirk responsibility. The backlash that they receive for their own actions is often quite minimal compared to what is actually due to them. And people treat them with kid gloves. People treat them as if these creators are above taking responsibility for their own actions, their own conversations, their own content. And it's absolutely ridiculous to me. It's outrageous that larger creators use their platforms to dehumanize other people, to propagate and perpetuate both racism, ableism, and many other intersectional issues because of the size of their platform. I find it absolutely ridiculous the way that these fully grown adult creators who have wide platforms are allowed to get a pass from so many in their own communities because they ultimately are respected for their past work and are wanted to give the benefit of the doubt, wanted to be ignored by their wider audience. And it's something that I am incapable of doing. It's something that I don't have any interest in doing. I see a creator who I respect making a mistake, and I pay close attention to how that creator goes about rectifying their own actions. I think that's extremely critical when it comes to addressing issues on the wider scale, on the wider whole of humanity, because the people who have the biggest platforms are the people who have the most reach. These are the people that are reaching a wider audience. They're often not called out. They're often able to act thoughtlessly, carelessly, pretentiously, condescendingly, and they're able to, retain most of their audience because people are selective in what they choose to let people slide for. And I'm not here for it. I am absolutely not here for letting larger creators spiritually bypass their own responsibilities in the collective, And I am here to discuss the specific situation that I found myself in on Owlvine's Instagram account the other day, this conversation or lack thereof. And I'm here to call attention to that. I am here to say Owlvine's name in a video and not feel myself as a smaller creator be afraid of like the backlash because, you know, she's a larger creator. That's ridiculous. Okay, I am a young adult. Owlvine is an older adult who has acted completely irresponsibly on her own platform. She's harmed and hurt people with her actions, and I'm going to shed light on it here on YouTube because Owlvine has a YouTube channel where she discusses and delves into issues of spirituality, paganism, witchcraft, all deeply, deeply integral communities, integral aspects of my own personality, of my own beingness, and I am not here for people's silence. I find it extremely disturbing. So the creator, Tori Torgerson, as I said, canceled her Kickstarter account because her own paying customers, her own financial backers, brought up issues with multiple of her cards. From what I understood, what I was able to see on Kickstarter and the information I was able to get by interacting with some of the commenters on Owlvine's post was that they were involved in the actual Kickstarter itself and that the original depiction of the Hanged Man was a black man and that George Floyd was depicted in this tarot deck as the card Justice and Breonna Taylor was depicted as the card of death. Now, I don't follow this creator, but I know that this creator is non-black. I know that the issues that were being raised in this tarot deck by the financial backers were being raised by black individuals who were in Owlvine's comment sections, who were saying that they were triggered by the imagery, that the imagery was done disrespectfully, completely without thought, without care, without intention, and was completely inappropriate to be being used in this tarot deck to evoke imagery of the symbolism of these tarot cards. The fact that multiple black financial backers came to this creator and said that the depiction of these cards needed to be changed is so valid, and it's so important to recognize the experiences that these individuals had witnessing a tarot deck that they were backing come out with this imagery. To see George Floyd and Breonna Taylor be accounted for in the deck next to celebrities, people who were celebrities for, you know, being a musician, being a singer. In addition to these cards, there was a card depicting Britney Spears in the middle of the mental health crisis that we all saw unfold in the media years ago when Britney Spears was having a mental health crisis and she shaved her head, and the ensuing video footage circulated around the internet, and our precious treasured princess of pop was made into a spectacle. And here's the intersection, being mentally ill, that I find myself being placed within. I am not black. I am listening to the black people who have come forward, the black financial backers who were triggered by this imagery of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And I am standing behind that. I am magnifying those voices. And at the same time, I am speaking for my own position as someone with complex mental illness. I've spoken about this on my channel. I have some videos touching on some aspects of my own issues with mental health, making light of Britney Spears' mental health crisis that the entire world witnessed and that has resulted in a conservatorship of all of her wealth and all of her choices that are made in life. Is triggering. If you do not have mental illness, then by virtue of that, you do not understand what it is like to be represented, to be depicted as the brunt of a joke, as the brunt of a try not to have a mental health breakdown, which is what this creator, essentially said on a post that trivialized the card overall and made it into like, a crying, laughing face emoji joke. You don't understand in any world what it is like to have a mental health crisis. And you cannot imagine what it would be like if that mental health crisis was caught on video and was propagated throughout the entire internet, the entire social sphere for years. Okay, Britney Spears is currently in what is called a conservatorship, meaning she ultimately has no choice in many areas that adults typically have choice in, including what she does with her money, what she does with her relationships, what she does in terms of having children. All of these things are going through a legal filter, and all of this is due to the massively problematic representation of Britney Spears while she was having a mental health crisis, how completely fucking unethical that is, and to use her imagery in this way is disgusting. Okay, so now that I have sort of given you a background on the Fated Star Tarot, you can go and you can, look into it more yourself. But I am going to be, in this video, focusing on Owlvine Green's response to her own community and how incredibly damaging it was, how incredibly difficult it was to see this happening with another creator who I respect, it really fucking blows. Owlvine's initial post: "Congratulations, witches, we've done it again. By mob rule, we've canceled yet another creator and run them out of town. Come one, come all, our doors are open to you. Not a scrap of dogma to be found here. No, we don't get down with that sort of closed-door religious thinking. Here, you will find acceptance, a place that encourages creativity and where individuality is celebrated. Unless what you share steps beyond the bounds of what we deem acceptable, unless you state a different opinion to us, unless you make us feel uncomfortable, then you'll be next. Hashtag witch community, hashtag tarot trouble, hashtag support your local artist." Okay, so upon seeing this post, instantly I had a bad taste in my mouth, and that is because I have very complex and nuanced feelings about what I see being termed cancel culture so much here on YouTube, on the internet in general, in the wider, societosphere currently going on, where people are basically being just called out on their own bullshit, like 99% of the time. And then people are choosing not to support that creator anymore based on their response, because people's responses say a lot about them. And people's responses to their own responses backlash say a lot about them. There was a lot in the comments sort of people saying that they are not a part of cancel culture. And I don't know if I find that necessarily helpful or, what I sort of think about that. I definitely am extremely careful. I have care in the people that I choose to support, as well as when I choose to stop supporting someone. There's a lot that goes into a decision of me not supporting someone. Oftentimes, it's not for their initial, offense, whatever it was. It's the way that they respond to it. This idea of, we're not a part of cancel culture, so we need to, walk on eggshells with these creators and we need to continue supporting them because cancel culture is bad. I just don't really like subscribe to viewing every single thing in terms of like this is cancel culture or this is not, and like this is a part of cancel culture. Like I'm viewing this as a part of the wider culture that we live in, and I'm just deciding where I want to, you know, put my support. I'm getting off track now. So I see this post and I'm thinking, okay, so somebody was quote unquote canceled within the witchy community. First of all, I seriously dislike vague posting. So upon seeing this, I visit the comment section. I try to figure out, you know, what the fuck is being discussed here, because we have a situation of vague posting situation, which I view as a type of passive aggression. I hate when people, you know, speak on things vaguely, like in life. So like online, vague posting is just like, it's why I am discussing, you know, this situation unfolding and being like, I am talking about Owlvine Green, I am talking about Tori Torgerson, because it's like, vague posting is just a mess, and I really find it to be problematic. I see that most people are saying, is this in response to Tori Torgerson's Fated Star Tarot deck? Okay, and here's the thing. When you vague post something, you are purposefully doing so. So at some point in your comment section, unless everybody is talking around a subject, it's going to be identified what it is we are talking about here. And it is the responsibility of the creator, if people are, you know, engaging in a discussion that is not actually in reference to what you were referring to, it's your responsibility to clear that up. Wind it up into being, you know, this community of people gathering in the comment section, addressing the Fated Star Tarot deck. And Owlvine was present for this entire discussion. I know that she was present because she was selectively liking comments. She wasn't responding to any comments, but selectively liking comments that agreed vaguely, that were in vague agreement with what she said. So what I ended up doing was researching what the Fated Star Tarot deck was all about. I received the information that I gave you originally at the beginning of this video about what the deck sort of entailed. And I'm going to read the comment that I posted, because the comment that I posted was where I stood and where I still essentially stand, except that I have new information, you know, based on Owlvine's responses. I had additional comments that I will share as well, but this was my initial comment responding to, you know, the vagueness plus the Fated Star Tarot deck plus, you know, her response. So I said, you know, I don't fully understand what you're referencing because you purposefully subposted. However, based on the comments expressing racism and other deplorable aspects of a creator's tarot deck, including the lynching of a black man, I'm interpreting this. You can take the time to post this, but not to post any content relating to advocating for Black lives. Because upon, you know, looking into her social media, there's been none, okay? But here this is. Here we are. I've been subscribed to you for a long time, since the beginning. I'm truly shocked to see this is what you're standing up for, and that I've seen nothing, complete radio silence regarding BLM. If I'm misinterpreting the post, it's because you've been intentionally misleading in its vagueness. But I'm truly disappointed. Your encouragement and inclusivity is limited and conditional. Blocking off everyone who was offended and harmed by this deck's representation, and inviting all who welcome its symbolism and are unaffected by it into your creative space. Truly wild. You are quick to try to protect a creator's mistake and attempt to apologize on behalf of them rather than listening to those who are affected and harmed by the symbolism of this deck. Black Lives Matter, unfollowed. Hashtag witches against white supremacy, hashtag witches against racism. Later on in the night, I posted an additional comment after seeing that Owlvine was selectively liking people's posts that were in agreement with her and ignoring other people who were expressing the harm, the hurt that was caused by this tarot deck and was caused by Owlvine's response. The way that we all were able to understand that we were talking about the same thing was because we saw Owlvine liking comments from people who were protecting this creator's reputation and ignoring every comment that discussed how they were harmed in the creator's depiction of mental illness and Black identity. So I posted something that essentially was, I do wish that when you posted this, you'd been willing to engage in a conversation. It's an absolute double standard when you yourself call people out for not being inclusive of creators when you are failing to be inclusive of others who are including their own voices. As I said in the beginning, the way I was able to get information about the situation that was unfolding was based on the people in the comments talking about the Kickstarter that they were backing and the imagery that was triggering for them as Black people, seeing George Floyd and Breonna Taylor be depicted in this way, as well as then I went and watched Katey Flowers' video, which highlighted the depictions of mental illness. As after seeing Owlvine's shadowy liking of comments that were in agreement with her, such as one that said, hashtag I don't need drama, I unfollowed her. Okay, I unfollowed her in the vaguity, the vagueness of her post and the ensuing comments response to it because I realized that we all were talking about the same thing and that Owlvine was not here for engaging in a conversation with people, even though people were bringing up the fact that this was anti-Black, that this was ableist toward people with mental illness, that they were harmed by the imagery. Harmed by the imagery. People were bringing up their own struggles. She posts. The other day I made a post which stood up against bullying. Naming and shaming is not okay. When I spoke about in the post happened right in the comments. Everyone is absolutely entitled to their opinion, whether you and I agree with it or not. But when a whole group of people come at one person, it becomes something different to that. It's a public shaming. The energy of that, I now know from experience, is not just theory. It's frankly fucking horrendous. So while an opinion is simply being stated, the one you're speaking to is standing alone in the playground while all your mates loom over them and then take their turn too. That's the energy. That's not okay with me. And I stand firm on that. I'm not okay with bullying behavior. I'm not okay with anyone being shamed into silence. We can have conversations without directing our righteous anger toward a specific person and eviscerating them. Hashtag witch community, hashtag that's a real person, hashtag think twice. Are you actually kidding me? This is spiritual bypassing. Anyone who is coming to the conversation talking about how they are harmed by other people's actions, and this is basically just denigrating all of these people into an archetype of a playground bully. So here's how I responded, because of course I responded. You know I responded. I said, you made a post referencing a Kickstarter tarot deck that had racist and ableist messaging that multiple financial backers were triggered by and addressed with the creator, and ultimately they canceled the deck. And a conversation ensued about the wider repercussions of ableism and racism in tarot and the tarot community. The creator did the correct thing by canceling their deck. Your comments were filled with people addressing completely legitimate and valid feelings surrounding representations of people in the deck, these depictions being both racist and ableist and completely disrespectful. You framed the situation as a mob coming to cancel another creator, and that your space is inclusive of creativity and individuality. I think centering yourself here as if you were harassed or bullied for people checking you on your own blind spots and privileges when you attempted to center the creator as a cancel culture victim, when the big issue was, again, racist and ableist depictions of Black people and or mentally ill people. Individuals affected by the imagery of the deck are valid. Your current post is insufficient in addressing your silence on both racism and ableism. Your framing of your protection of racism and ableism, I'll say it louder for the people in the back, perpetuating this as a playground bullying energy is truly weak sauce here in 2020. It literally is a manifestation of your own privilege when you frame people responding from their heart space about racist and ableist depictions of people who have shared intersections with them, like being Black and or mentally ill. It's not an attack on you. People, including myself, are reacting to you in this way because you use your space, time, and lack of conversation to protect and apologize for a creator who was addressed by their own customers for racism and ableism. That's not okay with me, and I stand firm in that. This isn't you simply stating an opinion and being playground bullied for it. Like, this is racism and ableism that we're talking about here. That's what it is, and that's what I think you have a responsibility now to address. Oh, as well, I wanted to point out the personal lasting repercussions of your post is that all day I have indeed been hurting from the fact that I am a disabled, mentally ill person who followed your work with respect for years and was genuinely affected by seeing you jump to protect ableism before protecting people like me. So if you want to discuss the feeling of fucking horrendousness you faced, having people call you out in the comments, I think it's worthy to think of how individuals actually affected by your own actions, your own beliefs, and lack of / anti-advocacy, when we intake that kind of further disparagement of our embodiment and experiences from yet another person as we face literally every individual day of our lives. I literally wouldn't be commenting this if I didn't have long-term respect for you and a desire for you to listen. Decenter yourself, please, and listen. Was I done? No. How do you think others feel when they see you liking comments saying, "I don't need drama"? When Black individuals said in your own comment section they were triggered by depictions of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor in this deck. I truly cannot take this response as anything more than spiritual bypassing, and it's not okay, it's not cool, and it should absolutely not be met with silence. She said that this was, that we could have a conversation. Okay, Owlvine didn't respond to anything in the second post. And then this morning I wake up and I see that she's posted something, unrelated back to her own witchy content. It's a tarot card, the Fool. And I won't say that it's lost on me that the Fool was originally depicted in tarot as the madman. The Fool has had a connotation attached to it of being about struggles with mental health, with mental illness, and all that sort of comes with that. And just this isn't lost on me. And just this reverting back to posting business as usual type content when nothing you said have been addressed. You made a huge mess that you didn't do anything to clean up. You allowed people to just continue unfollowing you as if this was a way to clear your own space, and I'm exhausted. I also, just as a last note, I didn't see any larger YouTuber, any larger individual with a platform adding their voice to this conversation in Owlvine's comments, and I follow the work of at least 10 different, mutuals that I have with Owlvine of different creators online in the pagan sphere. I didn't see anyone adding their voices. That doesn't mean that they saw it necessarily and just decided not to add their voices, but I think that I think that it's a wide problem that we're seeing with situations like this happening. Just the unbelievable handling, of situations where people are suffering within. People are literally suffering, okay? And we are just staying silent because these creators, you know, we try to give them the benefit of the doubt and all this. And it's extremely discouraging. It's really discouraging to not see any larger pagan witchy YouTubers or, you know, Instagrammers or content creators, you know, in the comments responding to Owlvine. There were a few people that I clicked on and, you know, they had a few thousand followers, but I'm talking about people with large platforms here. I didn't see anybody actually coming into the comments and talking about this, and just overall the amount of comments that I saw dehumanizing Black people, dehumanizing mental illness, it shook me to my core. I was truly in quite a state the entire next day after I saw Owlvine's initial post. And, you know, I just think that it's extremely fucking disappointing. I can't imagine doing it as a creator. You know, I'm such a small creator here on YouTube, but I just think that this whole illusion of like the divide, like the protective boundary that, you know, creators create with their audience, like that whole concept, that valid concept of creating boundaries with your audience, and then the complete lack of accountability, those are like two sides of the same coin. And it's really important that creators understand that not responding to criticism of their handling of certain situations is not putting up a protective spiritual boundary around your own energy. That's being a deflecting, non-accountable human being. It's wrong. I'm 24 years old and I know how wrong it is. I just find myself like in a flux about it, and I really want to know what your thoughts are. I would like to start a conversation down in the comment section. I in no way expect Owlvine to respond to this. I don't expect any other larger creators to really respond to her at this point. I think it's sort of just like we're sort of talking into the ether of her Instagram, and it's just going to continue with, you know, business as usual, posting different cards, you know, posting different content. And I just think that it's going to continue business as usual. I would love to see from her, you know, something come of this situation in terms of accountability, but I don't trust that it will happen. And that is truly all that I can handle for today. I wanted to bring this to YouTube, and I hope to start a discussion in the comments, and anything that you want to say, any concerns, criticisms that you want to raise toward me, please feel free to do that. Like I said, I was not even familiar with this tarot deck before seeing Owlvine's post and then watching the video by Katey Flowers. So there's like definitely a lot of spots that I was like patching in what was going on here. But I think that I made my problem with, you know, Owlvine and her response to this community pretty clear. And any Black witches, any mentally ill witches, any Black mentally ill witches out there who are hurting, this kind of behavior from creators is deplorable and it's unacceptable. It is so inappropriate, so deeply disrespectful, and it's wrong. You're valid, you are loved by the universe, you are loved by deity, by the all, by the whole. This shit sucks. This shit really sucks, and I'm fucking sorry that this happened. This sucks. This really fucking sucks. And a lot of the videos that I've seen about the subject have been, you know, people being really just really sweet and really trying to be compassionate to all sides. And, you know, I do want to make it known that I have compassion for the creator of this deck. Like, I'm not just like discounting this, you know, young creator in any way. I feel irritated that I even have to sort of say that, because I feel like people are going to, come at me with the fact that I'm trying to cancel a creator, this cancel culture phenomenon here. No, I just would not support this creator in this particular endeavor, and the creator did respond by canceling the deck, and Owlvine's attempt to apologize for the creator was inappropriate. The creator apologized the way that they apologize themselves, and it's up to their own audience to decide whether they're going to be, reintaking any of their future work or not. I personally was never following them in the first place, so I don't really see myself supporting them as a creator, because after this I have a sour taste in my mouth, and that's just sort of how it is. It's not like this creator is being canceled. It's that they chose to cancel their own deck, which was ultimately the correct thing to do. My problem here really is more with Owlvine and the wider pagan, witchy, spiritual community. More people in the community need to understand that we are not myopic. We are not one-dimensional human beings here in this community, and we need to stand up for injustice in all forms, and we should not be tolerating silence from our creators in shit that they start. That's ridiculous, okay? That's absolutely unacceptable. And we're not here for it. We won't support it. It's 2020. Do better. Blessed be. I will see you soon.